So perhaps placing a landing pad and assigning specific cargo ships that you've built for transporting goods to a trade route will be assigned at this console. Hey guys, Dantix here, back with another Starfield video. Today running through everything Outposts, aka base building. Now this is a contentious topic, not many people liking the feature in Fallout 4, and they assume they won't like it in Starfield. I'm here to tell you that you might want to give it a shot because it seems like it'll have features that separate it and will have reason to exist. Building cargo ships specifically to automate trade route delivery, a Prestin-less outpost defense system, crafting automation, resource generation, and more. So be sure to do the typical YouTube stuff, and if you like gameplay deep dives, check out the others on the channel. Also, if you want to win yourself a 3080 or a copy of Starfield, stick around to find out how. Starfield is a vast open universe with over 1,000 planets and moons to explore. So as you're exploring a world, you have the option at any time to enter scan mode and place a beacon. This outpost beacon can be built almost anywhere on a planet. You can see here it has its own radius, so it'll function as the center of your base. Inside this radius, you can build a variety of buildings to establish this base. These beacons are seemingly free to place, but you're required to have one in your inventory. Before you place the beacon, it will highlight the resources in the area available for extracting. In this case, lead. So those looking to set up a mining base, keep an eye out for valuable resource-rich planets and look for areas in the scan that highlight a good mix. Outpost beacons have integrity. This suggests that your outpost can be attacked, which is further clarified by the fact that we can have bots set to defend them. Defending your bases might be a fun little system where you can build fortresses and enjoy a tower defense style minigame. This also means you should choose a defensible spot, preferably on the high ground like this one. So when you select a spot, you'll see the outpost stats. You'll see the outpost name, which you can change, and the build limit on the left. Yes, there will be a size limit to make sure your frame rate doesn't drop to 5 like mine did with Fallout 4 when I modded the game to allow for bigger settlements. Then we have cargo, which suggests items ready for transport. We see on the Bethesda.net product description, build outposts and hire crew to passively extract materials and establish cargo links to transfer resources between them. Invest these raw materials into research projects to unlock unique crafting recipes. So there will be an in-depth cargo system where you can trade between bases in order to produce materials and items, as well as get the raw materials to research. We've seen a bit on research, and we know you can discover things like new outpost buildings in this system, so outposts may be one of the primary ways to feed into research. I foresee space mining being another. So to give an example, this outpost might be used to mine lead. The lead can be sent to another outpost which mines iron and combines them both to manufacture an item at a crafting station. Here we see a crew member assigned to a textile station. It clearly says armor on it, so being assigned to this station means she's automatically producing products for you and your base. How do you automatically produce products? With raw materials? How do you get the raw materials? By setting up cargo routes between them to a master outpost that's focused around crafting. Perhaps these little bots help in delivering a resource to a crafting or research station, as we see it heading in that direction. But we also see a bot focused around mopping the floor, so it could be purely cosmetic. Next, we have a stat for total crew, and that one is obvious. How many crew are assigned to your base? Crew helping with tasks like mining and crafting. Keep in mind that most crew have a skill or two dedicated to helping at your outpost. For example, Sarah will have botany, so putting her in a hydroponic hab to help you grow some helpful plants will yield better results. You see here when assigned to outposts, their useful skills will be highlighted. Do also note that bots can be assigned to your outpost. This mini bot most likely in charge of security. We can see you can have bots defending your base. Here we see a robot patrolling your base, and it looks a lot like Vasco. But is it? Closer inspection makes it seem like it's a different robot, but it could just be a customized version. So either we're getting Vasco-like robots to help our outpost, or we're able to customize Vasco's looks, either one being just gravy with me. What's clear is this bot is patrolling the base, just like the other little ones. So if it isn't obvious by now, you'll need them to defend your bases. It may be from raiders, pirates, or local wildlife, which has me hoping you can tame beasts to aid you like you could with Deathclaws in Fallout 4, but that's a topic for another day. I suspect that the more cargo you ship, the more attention your base will get. Then we see power needed and total power produced. This one is self-explanatory. We know you can set up wind farms and solar power, but will these be dependent on the planet? For example, will solar power produce more or less based on how far from the sun the planet is? Something that isn't clear right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bethesda included. No doubt there'll be reactors not reliant on the elements as well. Then we have production. We have 0 a minute right now. It's just not clear what you're producing and how much this stat will measure that, but it does further confirm the use of outposts. Then you can toggle View from your first and third person on the ground perspective to an overhead RTS style camera where you can get a good overview of the base, and you can live out your Command & Conquer fantasies in a certain way as that game isn't coming back. Here we see a command console which looks similar to the ones you can have on your ship and the navigation console we saw used. Perhaps you can use this to set a course like you could there, as we can see it connecting to a landing pad and a ship in the distance. What's more likely though is this is used to set up your crew and set up cargo trays. So perhaps placing a landing pad and assigning specific cargo ships that you've built for transporting goods to a trade route will be assigned at this console. We know you can have multiple ships in your shipyard, so how else would cargo routes be established? You can't walk from outpost to outpost if they're on different planets. This also gives you a reason to build a very large freighter with a lot of storage. Here we see a resource extractor. A crew can be assigned to oversee this, and no doubt it'll dig up and auto-generate the resources below it, in this case, lead. With the right skill, you can scan a planet from orbit and see a map of the ore deposits, with Tom mentioning that barren planets will be more resource heavy. So these harvesters will continue to harvest even when you're not there, giving you a reason to set up an outpost as you'll need a lot of resources to craft and research. We can see here that Barrel Mods 1 requires iron, nickel, and sealant. So here in the RTS view mode, we can place structures. We only see a handful, but there are more you can research and more tabs you can cycle through. Hydroponics, science, and military habs all providing different benefits that we can't look into right now. Building this airlock costs aluminium, sealant, and lead. All structures will cost a resource rather than credits, so you need to be able to mine and collect in order to expand. You notice that buildings are able to be placed on the X, Y, and Z axis, moving up and down to get at level, automatically building support underneath if placed above ground. Though there is a height limit and there will be more restrictions. Each building part will have multiple points that it can use to snap onto other parts, like Lego, so those Lego building skills won't go to waste. Here we see the inside of a round hab. This one seems like a communal space. We have a mopping robot driving around and cleaning floors, which is cute as hell. I hope there's more of this stuff that automatically is placed within structures. We also have a bench press in the back. Not sure if this will have a gameplay benefit like increasing you or your crew's skill, but it's nice to have. Then we have an area to mount your armor similar to Fallout and Skyrim, as well as a spot for trophies and a boxing bag. This is most definitely not a crafting or resource related hab. Here we have a square hab with an unclear purpose. Might be an area for the crew to be stationed to carry out their tasks, though this does give us a good look at how habs are connected. I can't wait to build an isolated hab on a desolate moon and put my least liked crew member there alone. With this shot we can see the elevation in effect. These buildings raise higher than their size in order to keep the outpost level. This one is the small hex hab listed before, but it didn't have a satellite attached, so this is not cosmetic. You can place this manually onto a building, so no doubt it'll have a purpose. What's nice is these kinds of habs all look lived in. There's not much empty space, this one having a research station built in, and here we can see another bot doing the rounds, similar to the one we saw approaching the crafting station. It could be the mini bot we saw assigned to the outpost before. In the background, a ship is landing automatically. This happening so often in the background of these clips further lends support to my trade route theory. This shot also confirms you won't be building bases just on flat surfaces. We're at the top of a canyon here, and in the distance is an outpost or a point of interest on top of a hill. Seems like a quaint little outpost with some power, some resource generation, and more unknown off to the side. This base might be dedicated to resource generation as it has a lot of wind power plants and 2 landing spots. It's possible you can place landing pads to function as a sort of place to land from orbit. So when you select a landing point, your outpost will be there, which also means you might be able to build a fortress that only you can access by landing into it if we can place walls or buildings that act like walls. This looks like the inside of a hydroponic hab. We know that collecting flora will be something you can do in game, so finding and planning the most useful ones will be a powerful way to keep your character topped up with buffs. Here we see an outpost on a desolate ice planet or moon, but there's something beautiful about it. Here's another shot of a ship taking off from your outpost. At this point you must be thinking, they really love the aesthetic of it or are really proud of how they got the system running. And that's everything outpost and base building. What do you think? Is it a feature you're going to be using come release? Let me know below. I recently upgraded to a 4090, so why not give away my 3080 and a few copies of Starfield? If you want to be in the running, all you need to do is be subscribed, hit the bell, and like and comment on my Starfield videos. For more entries, do the same on other Starfield videos or check out my Twitter and Discord. The winner will be chosen using RNG, so more entries give you more chances. Best of luck and thank you so much for watching. I'll be covering the game more than anyone else, so be sure to stay tuned. Ciao friends.